Show. What's up? How y'all doing? It is Thursday, March the 24th, 2022, and welcome to the Zodiac Chatline. I'm your host, Tennah, and always, Cassie is with me, feeling amazing, and we're so happy about her feeling good. Ay. Okay, can you see me and Cassie? We missed y'all so much. So
yes.
We are here.
And thank you for well wishes, Tennah, and folks saw the video, reached out. That was very sweet. I am feeling much better. So it was kind of crazy because I had the most violent stomach flu of certainly the last 15 years of my life, right on the spring equinox. Like literally it started an hour after it became 3:20. And for all our talk about the Virgo full moon and releasing stuff and getting ready for spring and the new season, it also felt really symbolic. Like you said it, the universe is getting rid of your toxins. Every toxic thing is coming out of your system. And it really did feel like that. And, yeah, but I'm happy to be here.
Listen,
how was your spring equinox?
You know, honestly, before I get in my spring equinox, I just want to take a moment for the Honorable Ketanji Brown Jackson. Ma'am, we love you. We thank you. We are so thrilled and excited that you are the first Black woman to be nominated for the Supreme Court. And I know you gonna be on the court, okay? I'm putting it out there. I don't care what all the ridiculous questions you had to answer, but I commend you, ma'am, on keeping that face good and just together. But I know in the back of your head, you said, really? Still, my credentials are not enough? So I just want to say shout out to you for all that you do, all that you inspire. We love you here on this show. So thank you, Honorable Ketanji Brown Jackson. We will see you on the Supreme Court. And my spring equinox was pretty cool. Some of y'all saw the video. I was on my patio. And I am very fortunate. I have nothing but greenery, and it is amazing. It was beautiful. I put all my plants out there, repotted some aloe pups. They got a little drenched a couple days later. So Coral, our resident plant green thumb witch, instructed me on what to do. So I will keep y'all posted and updated on what happens with those. But you know, I'm a huge fan of the spring equinox, guys. Like, I'm a winter baby, but I am ready for things to blossom and grow and change. And I'm an Aries moon, so this Aries energy is right up my alley. Yeah, it's a little impulsive, a little fiery, but after that Pisces haze, it's nice to come kind of clear and direct with the energy with the Aries energy, which we have on tonight's show. And we're so excited.
Heck yeah.
Do you have
a call whenever I see one of my husband's friends in the chat? Let him know, hey, you can hop in the chat.
That's a signal.
See one of your friends. What were you gonna say? I'm so sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, you want to tell them about your new plant, your plant, and what you named?
Yes. Okay. So, and sticking with our talking about the spring equinox and moving into Aries season, I have to show you. This is Lazarus, my Gerber daisy that I thought I killed I didn't. Mother Nature, when this plant was sitting on my porch, knocked it over during a storm. She sat out there for a couple hours before my neighbor rescued her. My family and I were out of town at the time. And so since July, she's not gotten, I guess I named him Lazarus, whatever, they have not gotten another bloom. And I was really proud of this plant because he'd been blooming so nicely for months before that. And I was getting all these amazing daisies. And then just a few days ago, I noticed the bud, and today was the first day that it's like a fully fucking formed, beautiful plant with its red-orange mane to usher us into a fiery season.
Looks like straight up Mars, like Mars just bloomed right there.
Yes, perfect.
We are celebrating that.
Yes.
So let's see. So spring equinox, just in case we wanted to just give you guys a quick rundown because we didn't do it the other day, happens when the sun moves into Aries and we are officially spring season. It is the beginning of the astrological zodiac chart. So Aries does start at the top, and that's how we celebrate our astrological new year. And also, we started the show on the winter solstice. Those of you who were with us back then, thank you for still sticking with us. And so now we're in the spring equinox, and it has evolved. And with that said, we have decided that you guys have the pleasure of watching our last Thursday episode for right now. We're just going to stick with Sundays and do some pop-ups whenever we feel like it. So be blessed and be lucky that you are watching this Thursday episode, because it will be one of the last. For right now, that will be scheduled.
Yeah.
So, but you ready? You got something else, or you want to get them on here?
I was just gonna say the spring equinox, also, of course, the day the sun in day and night are equal length. Hence the term equinox, equal. And yes, a reminder that all astrological things are also connected to the seasonal movements, and the astrological calendar is very much tied into the Earth's calendar of when days get longer and shorter. So I said that partially in honor of our guest that we're about to bring on.
Yes. So we are excited to have this amazing human to come on our show. He is connected to another guest, but we won't tell you why or how. But he was super sweet when we met him earlier. We had a little phone call so we could get to meet him. He's really open and super excited. So guys, we are going to bring on our guest today. His name is Everett.
Yes.
So I'm going to get him up in here. And we're going to get started with this lovely Aries. And Cassie's going to go into that when he gets in. Everett!
Hey, party people.
What up?
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Everett is here. Everett is an Aries sun, a Scorpio moon, and a Pisces rising. So, Everett, you mentioned on our pre-call, you're not an astrology stan. So, astrology, of course, we're mapping out the position of the planets in our solar system in respect to, these fixed constellations, right? And the idea that the position of each of those planets, based on the exact spot you were born on Earth, influences your personality in certain ways. And I know you said you grew up in a very scientific household, and astrology not a science. People who like to harsh our buzz as astrology enthusiasts go on about it being a pseudoscience and liken it to cult thinking. Tanae and I are not cult leaders. We are fans of the patterns we've observed in astrology. And also it's worth remembering that for as long as humans have been on the Earth, they've paid attention to the position of the planets in the sky. And there have often been historical accounts of, things happening, kings, falling under the influence of Mars in the sky. And so we have attributed certain qualities to these big celestial bodies since time untold, right? And I think there's something to that, and it's worth exploring. And that's part of the reason I've always been drawn to astrology. And I also, myself, am drawn to astrology a bit from the mathematical idea of chance and the sheer importance that chance has in all of our lives. Like, couldn't the positions of the planets be just as likely as any fucking thing else that influences anything that happens to us on a given day? So, that said, in astrology, you're yourself as an Aries, correct? You're at least that familiar with astrology to have heard that, know that about yourself.
Yep, totally.
Okay, so we focus on the three most powerful placements in your chart are where the sun was, which is your sign. That's the one that changes every 28 days or so, and what everybody talks about as being their sign, and it's the primary influence, your ego. And then your moon sign, which is like your id, right? That's your inner self and psychological. I'm not a psychology major. But your emotional self, that self you maybe keep hidden from others or only reveal to certain people. For you, that's Scorpio. You're an Aries sun. You have a Scorpio moon. And then the third is your rising sign, which is actually why you need to know the exact time and place you were born to do your astrological chart, because it is the sign that was rising over the horizon at the moment you were born. And a lot of people who are into astrology actually think of that as the most personal aspect of someone's chart. As I get older, identify more with my rising sign. It is what the world sees of you, if that's how I think of it. And for you, you are a Pisces rising. So, Tanae, which of those three aspects would you like to? You want to start with the Aries sun?
No, I want to start with the Scorpio moon.
Ooh, okay.
So what I gather from looking at all of those placements for you is that you are probably far more sensitive and feel a lot more than most people would ever know, unless they know you. I mean, and these people have to like intimately know you. Otherwise, they would think you are probably just like, oh, that's just Everett. He's just, that's a guy. He's always doing this. But Scorpio moons are probably the deepest of one of the moons because the feelings are so they can be internalized, they can be kind of torturous, they can be traumatically, or not necessarily, but transformative in a lot of ways, because Scorpios are not very surfacey, and to have your feelings in a sign that goes with depth, that you are able to kind of feel deeper than most. And it's a powerful placement for sexualness, and it's a powerful placement for influence, whether it be good or bad. Scorpio moons tend to be persuasive, and their emotions can sometimes overtake other people. Like that other person will think that they're feeling what they're feeling, but it's the Scorpio letting them know what they're supposed to feel.
That's really interesting. I definitely do relate to that. I feel like I've always been kind of like a chronic overthinker, and like definitely have like been sensitive just in general, like got my feelings hurt easily as a kid, like took things personally like pretty easily, the sort of thing. I think like I kind of had like a journey, I think, through in my like late teens, early 20s, of like learning how to sort of like be vulnerable and like sharing that side, and like even like establishing like a lot of close friendships and like relationships based on sharing those, I guess. And so I do think like I really like I definitely like do think that it is something of like a truer version of me, but I like that sort of like I have been able to learn how to show it, I guess, at times.
How did you go about doing that?
I think I just had like a great support system. Like I had like great friends who just like brought it out, and like also are similar minded, or like were equally as comfortable being themselves, I think. And that just like, and they really like hyped me up and like built me up, and I would like give them most of the credit for like turning me into who I was. Yeah. Who I became like eventually.
I love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, some of them were in the chat, so that's why I was thinking about it. They're probably so confused right now.
I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna try and stay super still because I'm getting a bunch of feedback that my video is really messed up. So is my audio okay?
Your audio is great. The video is just a little laggy.
This is insane because you know how much I love a hand gesture. So, okay.
You're gonna say something.
All right. So I'm going to talk about your Aries sun. Do you identify traditionally when you read descriptions of Aries with those qualities?
Yeah, I think I think in the past I wouldn't, but more recently, like just with whatever personal self-reflection and understanding, like I have now associated with it a little more. Like I am definitely very competitive. I'm definitely like can get hot-headed or even just like yeah, temper, that sort of thing. Like that's been like a more recent discovery of mine, I think, even too. Because like yeah, just other side. I can go into it if you want, but it's a long tangent.
We're
Yeah,
here for you,
Yeah,
Everett.
this is your show. Tangent away.
totally. Okay. Well, I guess like mm, I think this will just give like good context on like how I function too. So
Hmm.
I don't see it as wasted time. Um, but definitely like so I grew up in a household that was like very conflict averse. Like everyone kind of like minds their own business. Uh, very like unaffectionate too, but in like a traditional immigrant way. So it's like like vocally and like I don't know, by American standards not affectionate, but then by like
Hmm.
Chinese standards it's very like oh, you show love through like all these like hidden gestures kind of, and like
Mm.
the like very very different ways from saying it and like physically showing it, that sort of thing. um and so like I guess more recently like I've realized over my like I don't know, up until I was maybe like 20 or so, like I honestly up until like 2 years ago when I like started therapy, I think was like when like I realized, oh, like I have, because I have grown up in this like environment where like conflict is like we don't do conflict. I'm willing to like sacrifice whatever, or like I'm willing to just like do whatever it takes to like make the people around me happy and like satisfied. Um, and so more recently, like in therapy, I kind of learned like, oh, actually, I should like advocate for myself, and actually, like I should have an opinion, like that sort of thing, and like even if it causes conflict, that sort of thing. And so now that I have more recently gained an ego, I think, or like not even gained an ego, but just like allowed it to like or like give myself, I
Yeah.
guess, like the space that I want, I think.
Mm.
Then now I'm like struggling with the new, or like just reflecting and learning and like experiencing new emotions of like, okay, now that I have a position, how do I take that stand and
Mm.
like advocate for it? So it's just like it's kind of like now, so only recently have I started associating with those Aries traits of like, okay, I can get mad when things don't go my way, or like I've always been like super stubborn, like that sort of thing. And it's just yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
That was a long way to get to
Wow.
it.
No, but
That's
that's a
fascinating.
Mm,
Especially in light of you also have a Pisces rising, which is a super sensitive, super giving, very emotional, like it has a there's a big danger with a lot of Pisces energy, that you will give too much of yourself to others. Every
mm,
wounded bird, every,
mm,
person who's feeling some type of way. But unique you have a couple unique things going on with your Pisces rising, which is that you also have a couple other planets hanging out in Pisces in your first house. And one of them is Jupiter, which is doesn't rule Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces, but Jupiter uh, is exalted in Pisces. So it's a
mm-hmm.
favorable placement for Jupiter. And having Jupiter in your first house is also a very lucky placement. So there, to us, there's luck associated with tapping into that Pisces energy and that
yes.
sensitivity and that connectedness with others. I also think it's interesting hearing this about the differences in the way you communicate versus your family, because you also are the first person that we've had on the show who has Mercury in retrograde in their chart. Have you ever heard of Mercury retrograde?
I have heard like the memes around it, but
Sure.
nothing else.
So when Mercury goes into retrograde, just it happens three or four times a year, depending. that is when, you know, we who are into astrology tell people to expect communication to go haywire, expect their technological devices to go bonkers, because Mercury is the planet in astrology that, and, you know, in mythology that, or the figure in mythology that rules communication and messages. And so when I was reading about having Mercury retrograde in a natal chart, because I don't believe I've ever seen that in a natal chart, actually. It's not, you know, it's about 15 to 20% of the population who have it, but
It's not terrible.
Cool.
no, and it just means that there may be, you know, tension or struggle or differences between how you communicate and how the people around you communicate and how they receive it. And that was a question I had on my list to ask you. How do you feel you communicate differently than those people around you or maybe growing up? Especially because it's in the first house, which is, again, strongly associated. Well, I shouldn't say again, because I don't think we got into this, but the first house is strongly associated with your physical self, your very like essence as a person, rather than some of the other houses govern things like relationships, the way you serve people, etc. So I'm curious about that. How do you feel communication was, you know, how is that, more than you've already talked about, evolved for you?
That's a good question. Um, I think I don't know if it's like outside of a normal human's experience. But I think I just like growing up, I just like learned one way to communicate that was like primarily through actions, I guess, through like my family, and then like slowly gained more tools, I guess, or gained more like ways just by like learning like having my first romantic relationship, or then having like my first like friends who like actually talk about stuff and not just like talk about like sports and stuff as like boys do growing up, like that kind of thing. And so like I feel like I had like kind of like a late learning curve when it came to like communicating intimately, I guess, or like honestly and openly sort of thing. Um, but the sort of like tension, I never like associated like I've never felt like I had like an inability to communicate or anything. It was maybe more so like I have felt like misunderstood as a kid, but never like to the extent that was outside of like angsty teenager, like oh, oh this song gets me and no one else does sort of thing. Like I was never, yeah, I was never like I definitely have felt misunderstood, but it was never like debilitating, I think.
Yeah.
Heard. Okay.
Your chart just basically says that you are going to be lucky and successful in a lot of different ways. And just because, like Cassie said, your first house having Jupiter, and Jupiter is a planet of luck. It's in Pisces. It's exalted. People see you and they're like, here comes Everett. They are excited. Like, you breed so much joy and generosity and optimism, and like, I believe people love to be around your energy, and you bring people luck, and people are very lucky for you. I feel like a lot of things in maybe your career and certain other aspects, you'll get lucky due to other people. But anything as far as like material gain and anything you want, you will get because you want it, and you're going to work very hard for it. And you have a lot of second house energy that talks about value, material gain, all of that. And you have a lot of planets that all sit together, namely the sun and Saturn. And the sun is obviously who you are. And so security, material security, and stability is very important to you. And with Saturn there, you have to work hard for it sometimes,
Yeah.
but it's worth the squeeze. And the disappointments that you do find that happen when you work really hard on something build your character and make you stronger for it.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a really fortunate placement that you have, is that you have luck, but you also have the ability and strength to build a lot of material gain for yourself.
Mm.
Um, what has been the most challenging in order to find stability for you?
In order to find stability. Ah, that's interesting. How would you describe this stability in this like situation?
However
Like
whatever it means to you.
however I interpret it.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
How have I? I'm sorry.
That's part of the question too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, because everybody sees stability as in their
Yeah,
own
maybe
way, whatever
what
it
does
makes them.
stability look like for you? Start
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, good question. Oh man, like so yeah, a chronic overthinker. Like I guess immediately I think of like the material things of mental stability, or yeah, material things of like financial, emotional, whatever. All the there's too many to count, I guess. Too many definitions. And so my immediate thought is like for the material things, I think I like my struggles have always been like sort of uh inherently cultural, just like when I was I remember like very vividly when I was in like kindergarten, like I hated going to school. And I would ask my mom, like, Mom, why do I have to go to school? And then she painted it out for me. She was like, you're going to go to school, get a good education, go to a good college, and then do the straight and narrow path, pretty much like get a degree, get a good job, and then you're going to work that job until like you're set up, like that sort of thing. Um, and that was just like okay, from a very early age, like my goal was just set on like okay, I'm going to school so I can apply for a good college and then get in there. Like I'm focused on that sole goal for like the first like 12 years of education of my life, sort of thing. um and so that's where I think of like okay, that's kind of like what the struggle has been, of like that was my identity in the past, and then now that I have like reached it, like like there is now like okay, what do I focus on next, like what is the next goal, and sort of thing. um there's that. And then when I think of like mental emotional stability, I feel like in general, um I've always kind of been like unstable. No, not really unstable, I wouldn't say unstable, but like maybe like like I like what you guys said earlier. I forget the exact like terminology that you used, but it was like there's like a lot. I don't know. I forgot it. In one ear, out the other sometimes. But
You have a lot of emotions, and so in order to get them mentally stable, it kind of teeters. Like you feel stable one minute, and then the next minute you're like, I don't feel so stable.
yeah, definitely like sometimes do not feel in control of my emotions. But I also think like I like grew to be like pretty capable at portraying like whatever I wanted to at the
Mm.
time. But then also too, like there are times when like I know I can't hide it, so it's like whatever. So like that even like contradicts what I just said. But it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's like I definitely have, I guess, struggles with that form of stability are more like oh, I definitely focus on like finding or pinpointing like things in which like I need to improve. And so like there are, I'm often like guilt motivated, and also like just like sort of like seeking out negatives as like the path forward to improve myself. That's
Mm.
something that I've like realized. But yeah, it's just like yeah, that form of stability, but it works for me, that sort of thing of like I believe that it has gotten me to where I am today. But then like in therapy you got to work on how to do that healthily, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
just like I'm just rambling and all over the place,
No, you
but
are.
truly, yeah, a lot of
We
definitions for stability, I
no,
think.
we love it, and I just want to like point out that it's a very great thing that you recognize your emotions and you allow yourself to like go to therapy, especially as a man living in the world
The
today
world.
and with so many emotions. I think it's a beautiful thing that you're able to work through them and admit, like I think as people, we try and hold on so much, especially with emotions and, like showing emotions. If a woman shows emotions, she's just like hysterical and dramatic. And if a man shows emotions, he's weak. And it's like emotion is a human feeling. and to be able to embrace it and understand that, you know, it's not permanent. It's temporary as anything, but at least be in the moment and embrace it. So I think that's pretty amazing. You're quite self-aware,
Yeah.
Mr. Youngster.
Right.
I
I will share with you a piece of advice I received from a therapist that I found very useful it's not even advice, but it's something that to me is factual and has helped me put things in context sometimes, because I struggle with emotional stability a lot. I have, your girl's got a lot of woman sign energy. I'd be feeling. So she told me there are only three things you can control: what you say, what you do, and how you react to your emotions, because you can't control your emotions. And it's useful for me to remember that. And I congratulate you for doing work, for recognizing there's work to be done, and always encourage people to be graceful with themselves, right? Like, it is hard out here. It's hard to be a human in the best of times, in the best of circumstances, and we live in the bad place. Things are wild up in here, and
wild times, and like,
you know,
they don't even feel real.
It's a lot, but there's wonderful, lovely people out there, and love to be had and shared. And, you know, you have tapped into that in your circle and in yourself. And now, knowing that you got put on a straight and narrow path and you conquered that goal, what is your art? What is your creative passion? Your chart indicates that you should explore it, whatever it is. But we were curious to find out what tickles your fancy artistically.
Yeah, I've always loved music. I was like so growing up, I like was forced to play instruments. I hated those. And then I was like too embarrassed to like do anything about it, but I would like sing a lot. And then eventually like I did do singing in college and all that, and it was like very fun for me. And yeah, I've always like wanted to do some music stuff, and might dabble when I have like free time, if I ever have free time, sort of thing. And like am also not lazy, sort of thing. But yeah, that's definitely what I would say.
Can we get a little sample, Everett?
No, ma'am, not today.
he said that quick. He said,
not at all.
He's like, I'll tell you what it is, but no, ma'am. Okay.
Exactly.
But I'm gonna remember that. I'm gonna remember that. Oh, we have a couple singers in the chat. Anna just said, you better sing. Like, Anna can sing, y'all. Anna can sing.
Yeah.
But Everett, that's amazing that you know what your creative outlet is. As Cassie said, like, I encourage you to pursue it. And kind of use your imagination. You have a chart that like breeds inspiration, creativity, and imagination, and especially things that help and change the masses. A lot of humanitarian efforts, I feel like, you know, the energy lends you to be the type of person to, you know, create a song to aid relief in another country or something like that. You know what I mean? Something where your passionate and soulful energy, creative energy, comes through to help other people. And your generation, you know, your Neptune is one of those out there planets that we don't, you know, it's there, but it does talk about fantasy and illusion, but it also talks about like a different level of spirituality. And you were born in the generation where it was in Aquarius, and you are the very first year that it started in that. And so your generation was through like Bill Clinton's trial, like watching an impeachment. So your generation has seen a lot of humanity change. And TV was TV was super normal for you. I'm sure you have no idea what it's like with a UHF and VHF TV, two channels. So I think that gives you the humanitarian energy.
I like that a lot. That's really cool. That's definitely like something that I have felt drawn to, and just like in general, for sure. I feel like that is like throughout my generation. Like I can't speak for everyone, but definitely like there is like I have a lot of hope actually for like the future generation, which is like, I don't know. hard to find hope these days, but it's cool that it's there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That just makes me feel good for my generation of yours. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Elder millennial here. Thanks, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I find it so interesting too that singing is your passion, and we're talking all about like kind of finding your voice and ways to express yourself. And so, yeah, explore that. That's, you know, who knows what you might find, Everett.
Right. You ready?
Okay. Yes. So we're gonna do this game with you. We talked about your big three. You have an Aries sun. Aries is known to be fiery, temperamental, passionate, fun. You have a Scorpio moon. Scorpios are known to be intense, sensual, sexual, psychological, super emotional, but you'll never know it. And then you have a Pisces rising, and Pisces are the, just mermaids and comfy blankets of the zodiac. They're super kind, emotional, ethereal. They're the last sign of the zodiac, so they're thought to be connected to whatever comes next, right? Like the afterlife, the spirit realm. So we have found celebrities who are examples of all three of those influences: your Aries sun, your Scorpio moon, and your Pisces rising. And we have found examples that illustrate the shadow and the light qualities. So we're going to give you a pair of celebrities who share one of those placements, and you're going to guess if it's the Aries, the Scorpio, or the Pisces.
Cool.
And the good thing is there's only one set for each, so your odds get better every question.
Cool.
I know you're not astrology buff, so all right. So
I may not. This might also be embarrassing in my pop culture knowledge of celebrities.
We tried to put it. You'll know all these people.
Yes,
okay.
I'm pretty sure you'll be familiar with most of these people.
Cool.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna start with Alfred Hitchcock and Jimmy Fallon.
Okay. Wait, so what do I do?
You decide. You tell us.
Do you think if
whether
they go with
Aries sun, a Scorpio moon, or a Pisces rising, but both of them share one of those.
Okay, I see. I think Pisces, and I can explain why. Okay.
Go for it.
My reason why is that, like, I really just think, like, Jimmy Fallon is, like, I don't love him as a TV show or as a talk show host, and I immediately think of, like, disingenuous laughing, but he's doing it because he wants to make the other person feel welcome. So that's what I was thinking.
Okay, so
but yeah.
I want to tell you something funny, Cassie. So Everett, actually, Alfred Hitchcock and Jimmy Fallon share a Scorpio moon.
Cool.
However, Jimmy Fallon is a Pisces rising, and you were right about that.
Nice.
So we'll still give you the point.
Yeah,
you got it.
But
That's
now
funny.
you can take Scorpio moon out of your head for the next. You got the next pair today?
Okay, so the next pair is going to be Michael Jackson and Ryan Gosling.
Wait, Aries then? I think. Oh, is that wrong too?
No,
no.
is. Michael Jackson and Ryan Gosling are both Pisces rising.
Nice.
Michael Jackson is a Virgo sun, Pisces moon, and a Pisces rising.
I can see that.
Yeah.
You've got good odds for this one. Pharrell and Logan Paul.
I would like to get them all wrong. So I will say, so the two that, okay, well, it is Aries, but I will say Pisces.
Because they're both messy bitches. No.
Yeah, okay, I could see Aries. I can see Aries for them.
Yes. And they are definitely Pharrell. We love Pharrell, light,
Yeah.
and obviously that Paul dude is a shadow.
Aries.
Oh, I see now what you mean by light and shadow.
Yes.
Sorry. It's okay.
Oh my
it's
God.
okay.
No, you're
We take
totally
for granted
good.
that everybody is a witch, Everett.
It's okay. We know you're gonna be a warlock, Everett. I'm gonna check on
Cool.
you, and I have a feeling, Everett, that as you continue to grow in age and you have so much self-awareness and so much ability to like want to grow and be deeper and really get to know yourself, that use your mystical powers for good, and you are able to emotionally read a room better than most people, and be cautiously generous. That is the other thing I want to tell you. Please be, because I know you are like, I got it, it's cool, but like, be cautiously generous, because everybody loves you. I saw you have a whole fan club up in this chat. So that's, which is cool. But the older you get, the more your sensitivities will be, open, and you just make sure you set those good boundaries, like you said, being able to do things like that. So we absolutely loved having you on here. You have been an amazing guest. It was so good to meet up with you. Thank you, Isabel, for letting him come on the show.
Thank you guys
so
for having
much.
me.
Yes,
Seriously,
it was
like,
a wonderful talk.
Yeah, very much so. Like, I appreciate, like, that is very high praise that you guys have given me, and really, like, I feel undeserving of it, but thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I had a great time. It was just fun talking. And yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Yes.
See ya.
Happy
Bye.
Aries season, Everett.
Yay.
All right. Happy early birthday.
Oh, thanks.
Well, that
What
was
a treasure.
Fun. He is just adorable.
Isabel, OG guest.
She was.
Got you a good one.
Listen, she snatched that one up. Both of them. They like, we got each other.
Yes.
So,
yes,
guys,
he does too.
We just want to write all that. We just want to remind you guys that thank you so much for watching our last scheduled Thursday live, because we will be popping up on you after that, but we will be back on Sunday, this coming Sunday.
Sunday's the party night, guys.
We
Join
don't
us
do
on Sundays. We're always going to be here on Sundays. We're not always going to be here on Thursdays anymore.
Right? If you have any questions ever, always drop them in the chat. Send us a shmemail, whatever you want. The DMs, we'll listen. We're here for it.
Tick
we
us,
like
talk
talking
us,
about it.
tweet
that
us.
Part. All of
Leave us a
things.
comment on our Spotify channel, I think. I don't know. Maybe you can do that.
Go subscribe to the YouTubes.
Oh, please subscribe to our YouTube. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed. Tell your friends.
And subscribe multiple times. Thank you.
Yes.
So, you ready? Let's hit these questions, girl.
Yes. Okay, so from Machu Picchu 478, an Aries king himself.
Hello, with the red hair.
Yes. How am I, as an Aries, supposed to control all this emotion that I also feel from my Cancer rising and Taurus moon? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that was your big three, Machu Picchu.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, no wonder we're friends. You're not supposed to control it.
No, that's the fact that you have a Taurus moon trying to control something is no surprise. You allow them to be how they are, and when you're fiery and mad, be fiery and mad. When you're stubborn and bitter, be stubborn and bitter. And then when you're just nurturing and want to be in all your feelings and be a Cancer, then cry. It is what it is.
Yeah, I would say with those, I mean, there's a little bit of knowing the storm will pass with the Aries and Cancer placements, right? The cardinal is going to burn out. Like in the case of Aries, it's going to fire up and then dissipate. In the case of Cancer, it's going to gush out and then dry up. But you have this Taurus moon, thankfully, that is Taurus. I believe the moon is exalted in Taurus. It is a favorable placement for the moon. It tends to temper some of that moon's emotionality. Just watch Grudges. Taurus can be grudge holders, and so can Cancers. But I think in general, people are drawn to that passion and that emotion and use it for good. And the Aries, I think, I know, gives a spark and vitality to the Cancer and Taurus, who could easily just take a nap, and do that too when you need to.
And I'm sure it's hard. Like, everybody knows what you're feeling. It's always written on your face.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, but I think that's me too, Cancer rising. But I think that for me, that's one of the things I love about you, Maddie, is that like, that's just who you are, and it adds to who you are. So I think you need to just let them embrace them. That's how you control them. You embrace them. Okay, let's see which one. Oh, ooh, okay. You ready? The email, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I am an Aries cusp, 321, happy belated, with a Pisces moon and an Aquarius rising. Does this mean I'm more Pisces than Aries? Well,
it's hard to say this Pisces moon and Aquarius rising. I mean, yeah, I would say the Pisces moon definitely pulls your Aries sun a little, or I should say your cuspy sun a little further in the direction of Pisces energy, or adds Pisces energy to it. But also kind of depends on some of the other placements in your chart to really say, like, if you looked and you had Pisces, or your moon, as well as say Mercury and Venus and Jupiter and Pisces too, then you could really see where that would come through.
You're not really an Aries anymore.
Yeah. But you have Mars in Aries and Venus in Aries and, Saturn or whatever, like, then you can see where that fire is probably going to overtake that Pisces energy. But that's kind of a cool big three.
Well, they're all kind of next to each other too.
Yeah, it basically gives you the little winter season chunk. But you're only missing Capricorn.
And then you get the spring.
Yeah. You get a little bit of spring too. That's a fun little trio there. I like that.
So I actually got a question that popped up. Not the one in the chat. I see the one in the chat. Hold on, I got another question from Corey.Brooks. I believe this is an Everett fan club, but hey Corey, he says, any way to find your rising signs without knowing your birth time? No.
There are so technically there are astrologers who will do it, but it's a crazy complicated process that Tennah and I do not know how to do, and it involves like mapping out the events of like your early day. Like, it's no, it's a short answer. Unless you're willing to pay a very hard to find professional astrologer money to do so, no, not really.
The best case scenario you have is to really try and narrow down your birth time to about 2 hours. I mean, that's going to be your like rough estimate, because the rising doesn't it changes, I think, a little bit, maybe about there. Or if neither one of your parents are alive or remember, you can go and ask your local health department. They may have a copy of your birth certificate if it does have it on there. But others,
ask for a long form one.
Other than what Cassie said, unfortunately, that is the one thing that you do need for your rising sign for sure, is your birth time. But yeah, I would say, do as much as you can research. You can always find out, if you're not knowing your rising sign, you can still kind of take a look at your chart, and it'll give you where most of the planets are, because they don't change that often within that day. So your moon and your sun will probably be in the right placements, and then you'll probably have your other planets that'll be relatively about the same.
Everything should be there except possibly the moon, because the moon can change. The moon's only got a day, about 2 days, 2.5 day cycle. So on any given day, that could be wrong. You'd be one on the either side, right? Everything else, possibly Mercury, because it's got a short transit about the same length as the sun, but it's likely that they'll have the correct Mercury placement.
Yes.
You're
Quick,
welcome.
I'll just give this a quick little. I did see somebody ask about having an Aries rising, and how that affects in the season. Honestly, any Aries placement is happy right now. Aries is impulsive and ready to go. So everybody that has any kind of Aries placement, I have an Aries moon, so y'all, my emotions is everywhere. Anybody with an Aries placement, just look forward to this season. Enjoy, start things new. Look for ways to kind of bloom and blossom. But that's what I say.
Yeah,
So,
Red Jones I am now.
yes.
Red Jones I am.
Yes.
Yes, our Aries rising king. Yeah, I think there's possibly more than other people a heightened danger to just say the first thing that's on your mind. But I know Red Jones has a Virgo sun and Pisces moon, so he's going to think about it before he
all day long
claps back. But the urge will be there, and for all of us.
And if he does clap back, that's on you. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. We about to get to the best part, because y'all already know how your girl feel about what? Pulling a tarot card. Yes. So, guys, I did pull one of these for you the other day, but I wanted to pull one on the show because these are absolutely stunning cards. These are the Herbcrafters Tarot, written by Latisha Guthrie. We love you, Latisha. Artwork by Joanna Powell Colbert. And what I love about these lovely cards is that they use all of the different types of herbs that you may have in your kitchen or you may see in your garden. It's beautiful deck. Beautiful, beautiful deck. So we're going to get one and see what it says. And this does not always go by the traditional tarot. It does have it usually has different messages. So I'm going to pull one. We'll see. If we pull the same card, Cassie, I'm going to fall on this floor. Nope. Oddly enough, we pulled what they will call the Curandera of Air, Rosemary. This is, in the normal tarot, it would be the king, but this is considered the healer in this deck. So it is the highest form of air energy. And as we talked about, the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and air signs are all mental thought. And
in the tarot, they're the swords suit, typically.
Correct. Mm-hmm. All right. The messages that this card brings: adopt a story and pass it on. With pen, song, or brush, tell your story. What is remembered lives. A wild, unruly rosemary bush grows on the side of a garden shed. The building's blue paint is weathered and in need of a fresh coat. Some of the rosemary branches are starting to produce small purple flowers. An old woman grips a bundle of fresh sprigs in her hand, her arm decorated with a faded wing tattoo. She offers it up to the sky. The Curandera of Air is calm and collected. She agrees with what Chingam Trungpa taught about spiritual materialism. Wisdom is not an ancient relic to be collected, but inspiration for new awareness. She knows the medicine of rosemary enhances cognitive function. Her mind is sharp and quick, but she talks very little. She understands that words have wings, so she speaks only when she has something meaningful to offer. She's a wonderful listener. She says, "Tell me more." People are drawn to her honesty. Just as rosemary clears the mind, her counsel brings clarity and inspires peace.
Yes.
I think this is highly appropriate for the fiery Aries energy to take a moment, as Cassie said, before you speak. Make sure that it's something meaningful.
But also, tell your story. Everett in song, please.
Everett.
We love you, Everett.
we just want to let you know that. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Working on accounting stuff for a creative project, which is the least fun part of a creative project. You ain't ever lied about that. I have some license terms to review myself for a creative project. So,
and rosemary is a great herb to kind of just smell, to put you know, when you add it to food, it just enhances the flavor in such a nice aromatic way. So guys, take that energy and tell your stories through song, through writing, you know, all that.
Through a spreadsheet, awesome.
That's my daily work. So, guys, once again, we want to thank you for joining us. This is always a pleasure. If you have any other questions, keep letting us know. You know all the ways to get a hold of us. Tell your friends. We're still looking for guests. We are now booking for June. So get on in, do Rails of Rosemary. Okay, that might be a little prickly, but hey, just, you know, no judgment here. We are no judgment free. We love you too, Chelsea Shag. We can't wait for you to be on the show, girl. Bam, bam, bam. All right. Yes, Red Jones, I am. Be on it. Okay, y'all. It's been real. Anna Brower, clap, clap. We love, look at y'all. Thank you. We love y'all. Thank you so much. We appreciate the love. You don't know how much you gas us up. Me and Cassie. We is like the homebodies that you don't ever know about, but we love y'all. We do this for y'all. So guys, it's all love. Cassie, I ain't gonna never do this without you because we us all on Sunday.
Yeah. I appreciate it. And we do love y'all. And we're so looking forward to seeing y'all on Sundays for the party and at our pop-ups whenever we feel like it.
All right.
And in the meantime, peace.